remarkable nursing program led by Patricia and her team. We will also have the work that Ken is involved in with the School of Medicine and the WWAMI program. And we will also have the work of our School of Pharmacy, the dental programs at Rodolfo's incredible institution, and the applied health programs that not only WSU has, but also Eastern Washington University. And all of those programs, you see, will overlay each other. And so the educational delivery process that will prevail at the end will be a collaborative one. It will be a completely integrated one. It is what I call disintermediation. That is, we will get as close as we possibly can between the services we provide and the patients that we treat. And the educational pedagogy will be one of the richest and the most vibrant ones in this nation. And it is already happening. There is an incredible synergy that is already emerging within the educational and academic communities around the engagement of Brian Pitcher, Brian Slinker, and the entire team that we have here. Last year, we had a team of visitors from North Carolina to come and look up close and personal about what we are doing as a community. And we're going to have more and more of those points of engagement. And yes, there are some things that we must and should do, and there are a lot of things that we have done already. You see, this journey really started in 2006, in which we released a feasibility study that said we needed to grow the medical presence here in Spokane. And in 2007, we were able to convince the legislature to agree to additional funding. It was the first expansion of medical education in our state in over 3 decades. And in September of 2008, we introduced a class of 20 first-year students and 8 dental students here in Spokane on the River Point campus. And then we moved into the 2009 legislative session, in which we convinced the legislature to invest in the new Biomedical Health Sciences building. And as we began to get our plans in order, we recognized pretty quickly that the footprint of that building was not large enough to accommodate our goals and our ambitions. I teamed up with the president of the University of Washington at the time, Mark Emmert, and we introduced to this community the notion that both institutions would be here together in lockstep, realizing the investment that you've made in the University of Washington and in Washington State University, and we'll do it in a collaborative way. And we then embarked upon a study that evidenced in very empirical ways that we needed to increase the overall size of students pursuing medical education by at least 120. And so then we were able to convince the legislature to commit to planning and design funds for the new Biomedical Health Sciences building, and we're in the process of doing that right now. And we have to make sure that we have that capacity. So at a time in which we are trying to measure our economy by letters and symbols, a group of us just earlier this week had the opportunity to visit with members of the governor's team and to tell them unabashedly that we wanted $70 million to go towards the building and construction of a new medical facility here in the city of Spokane. And why are we doing that? We're doing that because the closest academic health center to this community beyond what we have here is in Minneapolis. Think about that. You have for years been the hub of healthcare in the Pacific Northwest. And we are convinced that together we can make the School of Medicine a reality. And I must tell you, we have bold and audacious dreams at WSU to add to the growth and vitality of this community. Some of you perhaps read most recently that we announced the largest fundraising initiative in the history of our university. We were able to convince Paul Allen to invest $26 million in our School for Global Animal Health. During the silent phase of our campaign, which has been 4 years in duration, during the worst economic times imaginable, the remarkable team, 2 members of whom are sitting there to my left, raised $534.2 million. And those are funds that will go right back into sustaining this community and what we do. You see, it's a reflection of the generosity of this community. It's a reflection of the vision of where we are headed. And we're headed to uncompromised excellence at the highest level. We're headed to a place in which we will have the academic programs and services in place that you've invested in. And we're headed in a space in which it will be done in a collaborative fashion. You see, that's the bold, audacious dream that we have in place. And you saw a portion of it today on the video, and you heard my entire speech from Rich Hadley. And as if that wasn't enough, he gave you a cheat sheet with all of my talking points on it. But the nice thing about that, though, Rich, is the fact that we are in lockstep about it. There is no disagreement about where we're headed in this particular space. We have just remarkable, remarkable partners. And those partners will sustain us. And so let me just talk about the role that all of us will play in this capacity in just a few moments. Well, I have to start with the city of Spokane, because there is simply nothing that we can do without the support of that leadership team. Mary Verner is doing just a remarkable job, and for that we are grateful and appreciative. She's been very supportive of the master plan associated with the River Point campus, and she has lobbied very, very strongly on our behalf, and there's now the infusion of dollars going to support that. GSI is right in the center of everything that we're doing and coordinating those efforts. Downtown Spokane partnership and the concept of the university district will fuel the vision, if you will, for that footprint of our community as we go forward. Trip Ombach has been the consultant that we've relied on for the feasibility study, and now we're working with that firm to build a business plan and a legislative agenda around the priorities in which we described. And there is no way to talk about the investment that has been made by not mentioning the incredible leadership of our local delegation. Lisa Brown is doing just an amazing job. Tim Ormsby is right there with her, hand in hand. We had Chris Marr, who continues, at least for the next several weeks or so, to lead us in the Senate, very much a part of this vision. And John Driscoll, for the leadership that all of them have provided as a team, you see. And now there will be some different players in that team, but that momentum will carry forward because we are building a much stronger political base. In the past, we've had a political base that's been exclusively here in Spokane, and we're building that across Eastern Washington. And if everybody understands that vision, you see, it extends the footprint of where we will go and the influence that we'll have. And of course, I'll be remiss if I did not talk about the engagement and the participation from our federal delegation. Patty Murray has just done an amazing job. She began with our College of Nursing, helping to equip that. She has also been instrumental in providing funds for some remediation on the site that we propose. All of us know the history of the River Point campus and where that's located, and the fact that we still have a number of environmental issues yet to be addressed. And so I want to conclude and entertain any questions that you may have, where I began by thanking you very much for what you do on behalf of this community. We are very clear of vision. This community is very clear of vision. We are deeply, deeply committed to making this happen. I shared with Tom just sitting there, if there is nothing else that I accomplish while president of Washington State University, we will have a medical school here. And it is my hope, it is my dream, and it's my aspiration that we will do it in conjunction with the University of Washington. But let me be unabashedly clear with you. We will do it because it is the right thing to do. It is consistent with the core values of this community. It adds to growth and vitality of Spokane, and that's what we should do. Spokane leads the state, and indeed it leads this nation. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. Thank you for your support of GSI. Thank you for supporting Spokane. I really appreciate all that you do.